Hey guys, it's Pastor Rachel. I'm doing today's Daily Soap, and we are looking at 2 Samuel chapters 15 and 16. And when I was reading these, all I could think about was these couple chapters would make an incredible drama or soap opera because it's full of lying and deceit and backstabbing and double agents and all of this, all of the components that a good drama needs for people to be engaged with the story. So definitely worth the read, but let me give you the brief overview. We have Absalom, who's David's son, outside of the palace, and people, when they would come to work out a court case or a disagreement, Absalom would meet them before they would go in, and he essentially was like, well, there's no one here to hear your case, but if I were in charge, I would fix this for you because I value you and I love you, and then he would kiss their hand instead of allowing them to bow down to him. And that, is, I think, is our first sign of manipulation as Absalom tries to win the hearts of people in an effort to gain power and control. After that, he goes to King David and says, I need to go to this place to make a sacrifice for the Lord because I said if I came back here, then I would go and make a sacrifice. When in reality, Absalom was on his way to stir up dissension among the people of Israel and the followers of David. That was why he was going out. It wasn't, his motives weren't to go prepare a sacrifice for the Lord. It was to figure out how he can gain the most publicity or the biggest following so that he could be in control. And the story goes on, and then there is a guy who ends up going to Absalom saying he's working with him when in reality he was on David's side and he was feeding him false information and manipulating the situation by what truth or not truth he was sharing. It was this whole massive, ugly situation that ends up in a lot of bloodshed and a lot of death and a lot of people being abused or neglected. Which I think when we think about manipulation, we think of either big, scary, toxic relationships that either we've experienced or that friends have walked through. But I am confident that we are manipulative people in lots of different ways, and that is unfortunate, but it really is the reality of the situation. For instance, when we are name dropping, when we are saying so-and-so sent me, or hey, I hear you know this person, can you get me a deal on whatever this is, that is a form of manipulation. Manipulation is simply, in its most juvenile way of explaining it, is us changing something. And sometimes we change the truth, sometimes we change our perceptions of other people, sometimes we change people's values, but manipulation comes in a lot of sneaky forms, sometimes harmless, like name dropping to get a better deal on a car repair or something simple like that. But there are forms of manipulation that seem simple and common when in reality are absolutely detrimental. For instance, when you are with your family and things are not going well, but you manage to capture the perfect picture that makes it look like you have your stuff together and everything is fine, and you post that on the internet and you make a caption that about that picture that isn't actually what was happening, you are manipulating your audience to perceive you and your family in a way that's not accurate to who you and your family are. That is manipulation. And I'd like to think that that's harmless because we all do it, not just with how our families are perceived, but how we ourselves are perceived, or even when we are talking about how other people on social media, we are manipulating how our audience is going to see a person that we may not even personally know, and that they definitely don't personally know. Our words have so much power, and we need to share truth. Manipulation is so sneaky and so detrimental. And I think of big dysfunctional relationships with parents and children, and not even like the big toxic ones where we can easily identify manipulation, but we are constantly manipulating in the way that we parent, in the way that we do friendships. And for example, I think one of the biggest issues or the scariest things about being a parent is we manipulate how our kids see themselves. We can tell our kids things way too good about them and over encourage them and make them feel like they have to perform for us in order for us to love them, or we can absolutely rip our kids apart and tell them all the things that they should hate about themselves. And that can be so subtle as opposed to just providing criticism or more hiding a like destructive comment in a way that looks like we're helping them grow. And even just like absolute like straight up neglect, when we aren't encouraging or disciplining our kids, we are telling them they are not worthy of our time and our attention, and that is going to change how they see themselves. We manipulate how our kids perceive themselves, and that is a really, really delicate thing that parents are trusted with. And this isn't just for parents. We are all manipulative. We all have the tendency to be conniving because we love and value control. I think that there are people who are more bent towards needing control than others, and I'm probably in that category. But we change the way people see us. We like to change the way people see each other because we are looking for security. We are looking to be the one in power and ultimately the one having the control. And what that says about our belief in God is that we don't trust Him. If our goal is control, what we are saying is that we are not trusting God. So my encouragement for you guys today is to spend even just a few minutes and be as clear and open and honest as you are capable of being with God, and ask Him to identify what things you are manipulating, what people you are manipulating, what relationships you are manipulating. And sometimes there's going to be big, ugly things that need to be dealt with, and sometimes it might be small, little things like how what we're throwing out there on the internet for people to interpret about who we are. But God is clear, open, and honest, and if God is, we are called to do the same. So spend some time with God, really push in that area, and let's strive to be better people who value each other and who value honesty and integrity and truth.